Have you ever caught yourself wondering if dating a younger woman is worth the risk? Maybe you've felt that flicker of excitement mixed with a sinking fear that it could all go sideways. You're not alone. Countless older men step into these relationships with good intentions, only to find themselves tangled in unmet expectations, financial strain, or the nagging suspicion that her interest isn't as genuine as they'd hoped. The truth is, age gap relationships can be incredibly rewarding, but only if you approach them with open eyes, clear boundaries, and unwavering self-awareness. Today, you're going to discover a proven framework to decode compatibility, assess intentions, and protect your heart without losing your sense of adventure. Because judging others yields absolutely no improvement. Mindfulness always takes real awareness. Navigating social changes requires intentional persistence too. If you've ever felt the pull of a younger woman's smile but hesitated, this is your moment to learn exactly how to move forward with confidence and clarity. Before you get swept up in the thrill of her energy and admiration, pause and ask yourself a powerful question. Where are we both heading? So many older men leap into age gap relationships, hoping that chemistry will somehow smooth over the cracks of incompatible dreams. But here's the reality. Long-term goals shape every decision you will make together. Imagine this. You're 58, picturing quiet weekends at your lake house while she's 30, driven to build her career and travel the world. Those diverging paths aren't just theoretical, they will collide in daily life. When you sit down to talk, discuss your visions for family, career, lifestyle, and even retirement. Make it real. Because nothing feels worse than realizing too late that you both signed up for futures that were never meant to align. Clarifying these goals isn't just practical, it's a profound act of respect. Remember, thoughtful reflection allows natural strength. Clarity really improves persistence today. Once you've anchored your long-term goals, it's time to ask yourself, what exactly draws me to her and her to me? It's tempting to believe attraction begins and ends with physical beauty, especially when age differences feel magnified by what you see in the mirror. But genuine chemistry is deeper. Imagine sharing an unguarded moment, like cooking dinner side by side, and feeling her curiosity, her laughter, her respect for your life experience. Picture her admiring your steady hand when life gets complicated. That's the kind of connection that outlasts youthful allure. If your bond is only fueled by surface-level admiration, you risk building a house on sand. So evaluate how you communicate, how you challenge each other, and whether her presence expands your world rather than just decorating it. Because when you strip away appearances, what remains is the truest measure of compatibility. Judging others yields absolutely no improvement. Only when you look beneath the surface will you find something real. Once you've recognized authentic chemistry, it's time to confront a topic many older men shy away from. From money. If you skip this conversation, you are inviting resentment and imbalance to creep in when you least expect it. Picture this. You're planning a weekend getaway, and she casually assumes you'll cover every expense. Or perhaps she hints at lifestyle upgrades, designer bags, lavish dinners that feel more like silent obligations than mutual enjoyment. Financial clarity isn't about suspicion or stinginess. It's about protecting both of you from misunderstandings. Sit down and discuss how you'll handle day-to-day expenses, larger investments, and what financial support, if any, she expects. Be transparent about your comfort level. When you understand each other's expectations, you create a foundation of fairness and trust that outlasts any fleeting attraction. Because just overthinking yields avoidance, new ideas make actions. And when you approach finances with honesty, you give your relationship a fighting chance to grow without hidden resentments. Once you've clarified the practical aspects, you must turn your attention to something equally vital, but often unspoken: intimacy. This isn't just about physical connection. It's about how you express affection, share vulnerability, and sustain desire across decades. Imagine sitting across from her, feeling that magnetic pull, and wondering silently whether your needs, energy, and expectations truly align. If you dodge this conversation, you risk letting unspoken frustrations fester into resentment. Talk openly about your sexual compatibility, how frequently you each crave closeness, and whether you're prepared to adapt as time passes. Address potential differences in desire or stamina with candor, not embarrassment. Because intimacy isn't static, it evolves with trust and honesty. When you're willing to name your fears and hopes, you're laying the groundwork for a connection that stays alive long after the first thrill has faded. Or remember, judging others yields absolutely no improvement. Mindfulness always takes real awareness, and nowhere is that more true than in the delicate dance of intimacy. After exploring intimacy, it's essential to face the realities that many avoid until it's too late: health and aging. These aren't merely abstract concerns, they are guarantees life will eventually deliver. Imagine this: you're 65, still vibrant, but gradually noticing changes, aches, slower recovery, perhaps a diagnosis that demands more care. If you haven't spoken honestly about these possibilities, your relationship can become strained under the weight of unpreparedness. Sit together and discuss life expectancy, health expectations, and how caregiving roles could evolve. Be open about your fears and realistic about what you can each handle with grace. It's not a conversation about gloom, it's a testament to your courage and respect for her future as well as yours. Because when you acknowledge life's inevitable shifts, you transform uncertainty into shared strength. Just overthinking yields avoidance. New ideas make actions. And in this case, thoughtful reflection allows natural strength that will serve you both when the easy days turn challenging. Once you've faced the practical and emotional terrain of aging, it's time to recognize the subtle and sometimes surprising challenges of generational gaps. These aren't always obvious at the start. In fact, they often hide behind shared passions and surface compatibility. But imagine sitting together at dinner while she's excitedly quoting a cultural reference you don't recognize, or feeling out of step with her social circle's priorities and humor. Over time, these gaps can feel like chasms if you don't prepare for them with humility and curiosity. Discuss how you each relate to technology, pop culture, and your core values. Make space to learn from one another rather than silently judging or withdrawing. Because embracing generational differences isn't about pretending they don't exist. It's about choosing to respect them and finding common ground anyway. Judging others yields absolutely no improvement. Mindfulness always takes real awareness. When you meet these differences with openness, you transform them into opportunities for deeper connection. After acknowledging the challenges, you must also remember the powerful advantages you bring to the table. Too often, older men focus only on what they fear they lack: youth, energy, cultural fluency, while forgetting the qualities that many younger women genuinely admire. Imagine this: she lights up when you share stories from decades of experience, when your calm presence soothes her worries, or when your self-assurance makes her feel secure in ways she's never known. This isn't fantasy, it's reality for many age gap couples who choose to value what maturity provides. You offer stability, wisdom, patience, and a depth of perspective that younger partners often find magnetic. So take a moment to see yourself clearly, without apology, because your lived experience isn't a liability, it's an asset. Just overthinking yields avoidance. New ideas make actions. And when you own these strengths, you create a dynamic where she feels both inspired and safe to build something lasting with you. Even when you appreciate the positives, you can't afford to ignore warning signs. Infatuation has a way of blinding you to patterns you'd otherwise question. Imagine this: She showers you with affection, but subtly pressures you to spend money beyond your comfort. Or perhaps she hints that your stability should automatically translate into rescuing her from every setback. These are not romantic quirks. They're red flags waving in plain sight. Be vigilant for unresolved emotional wounds, chronic financial dependence, or a pattern of seeking validation through relationships. Talk openly about expectations and watch how she responds to gentle boundaries. If she becomes defensive or evasive, take note, because protecting your heart and resources isn't selfish, it's essential. Remember, clarity really improves persistence today. When you respect your own limits, you create space for a connection built on mutual trust rather than hidden agendas. Stay watchful, stay grounded, and never sacrifice your well-being for fleeting excitement. You've just walked through the most crucial steps to approaching a relationship with a younger woman thoughtfully and courageously. Let this sink in, clarifying your goals, evaluating true chemistry, discussing finances and intimacy, acknowledging health realities, embracing generational differences, honoring your strengths, and staying vigilant for red flags. Each step is a declaration that you're no longer willing to settle for guesswork or illusions. Because when you lead with self-awareness and honesty, you gain something rare: the ability to build a connection rooted in mutual respect, shared purpose, and genuine affection. No more second-guessing whether you're enough. No more ignoring the quiet signals that something feels off. This is your opportunity to step into relationships fully prepared, fully present, and fully committed to the life you want to create. Just overthinking yields avoidance. New ideas make actions. And when you practice clarity, you unlock the confidence that makes everything possible. Now that you've gained this essential insight into navigating relationships with younger women, why stop here? Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Your journey to confident, mindful dating starts with these next steps. Share your thoughts or questions below, and let's keep this conversation going. Remember, approaching relationships with clarity and courage is the key to unlocking the connection you deserve.